Hey review family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, the review guy, reviewing music for the love of music, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one I'm going to be covering the new Scarlxrd record entitled Acquird Taste Volume 1, and I'm assuming there's going to be a Volume 2. At this point, I feel like I have kind of an odd relationship with Scarlxrd. Scarlxrd has had a very busy year. He dropped a mixtape earlier in the year in March, and then he dropped a full-length album, and this is his second full-length album later in the year. In the span of less than a year, I've covered all three, if you include this one, with varying levels of enjoyment throughout the three. And I don't want to be considered a basher, considering none of the reviews that I've done of Scarlxrd have been head over heels, top to bottom positive by any means. I cover him because I genuinely think he's one of the more interesting artists to come out of this heavy trap metal field. And his throat-shredding screams overhead alongside growls, the occasional growls, although he does do more growls on this record. I just want to get one thing out of the way real quick. Immortalization is better than Infinity. I do believe that Immortalization is better than Infinity, and the reason I feel like I have to say that is they got the same score, so I'm not sure if people don't know if I have a preference. The main reason that I thought that Immortalization suffered, though, was for how bloated the track listing was. And unfortunately, I think that Acquird Taste Volume 1 suffers from the same pitfall. Where a lot of the more simpler tracks, some of the shorter tracks can just feel like ideas for tracks as opposed to main tracks. And I wouldn't go so far as to call them cardboard, but they definitely feel filler sometimes. Some of these tracks take his style to the lowest common denominator and applies them in a way that makes them indistinguishable from some of the other mediocre tracks on the album. I would also point out I think he does faster better than slower. It might be his beats, it might be his voice, it might be a combination. All I know is his high-octane tracks keep the energy uplifted a lot more than, say, a track like New Level, which is the opener, which is just more moody than anything, and I don't think Scarlxrd necessarily does the style badly. I think it just lacks some of his natural pizzazz. He has a whacked-out personality, a whacked-out lyrical style, and I think he should play on that as much as he possibly can, because you shouldn't just sell away your own appeal. I give it to Scarlxrd on this album, though. I'm starting to see something. A lot more experimentation than has been previously done on any of his albums this year. I'm Not Lost features him going into an interesting flow style that I haven't heard him do too terribly much, with a rather beautiful beat. Calm My Temper features him going into non-screamed vocal territory, which he has done plenty of times before, although I think this comes out the best thanks to the beat, considering usually back when he used to go into just regular rap territory, he would still have his very distorted beats for the most part. He has a very vulnerable rapping style, and this whole track reminds me a lot of one of my favorite artists, Nothing Nowhere, especially with the guitar-driven beat. It's just so down. And this featured guitar is something that I don't really assume or expect from Scarlxrd too terribly often. Peace in My Life has one of the most atmospherically beautiful and sound instrumentals that I've ever heard from any Scarlxrd track. And YSL absolutely exudes an emo rap vibe. I respect his ability to push out of his comfort zone from each album this year, and it is obvious he is pushing himself out of his comfort zone. If you've listened to each album a lot, you will definitely see that, and I think that's exactly what he needs at this point going into his career, considering just how prolific he is. If he was just dropping an album every 5 to 6 years and kind of maintain the status quo for his audience, I could understand that. But with Scarlxrd, he is so damn prolific. And I think that really isn't a good thing if you're pumping out the same exact tracks, if you're churning out the same exact sound. And Scarlxrd is doing a little bit different on this record. And because of that, I'm going to be giving this album a 7 out of 10. And that is a wrap. Have you heard this new Scarlxrd record, Acquird Taste Volume 1? If you have, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about it. I would love to discuss the record with you. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, the review guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.